With cyber attack complexity increasing every day, businesses need to constantly be thinking about how they can respond to new threats. We're here today with Alexandra Marsden, the Principal Consulting Analyst over at Darktrace, to talk about the future of cyber defense and AI. Hi, Alex.
Good afternoon. Nice to see you.
Lovely to have you with us. So we've got a couple of questions for you today, and we're going to start off with a big one, which is, are traditional cyber defenses keeping up with modern cyber threats?
I would say in summary, I guess not really, but for two reasons. One being the pace and the other being the variety. And by that, I mean kind of we can't just rely on signatures anymore. And the way that we need to think about it needs to change. I think that variety, when I've covered that point off, it's the variety of ways attackers can get in, right? And it's the way that we're working differently. So there's a variety of ways of people using the machines and also a variety of way for attackers to get in. That's due to kind of digital transformation over the years, things like COVID that you can't kind of preempt, cloud environments, APIs, loads of digital infrastructure to keep an eye on. So you can't get a visibility of everything. And there's so much variety out there to keep secure. And I think the pace point is more that we can't keep up with the speed of that. The speed of digital estates growing, the amount of employees working outside of the office in more dynamic and connected ways, which ultimately both variety and pace are leaving kind of weak spots for security teams to think of new ways of protecting themselves. So I'd say, I guess modern day cyber threats are very machine paced, right? And we need to respond at that kind of machine speed pace as well.
And that leads us very nicely into what you at Darktrace do all the time, which is focusing sort of on the AI element of cybersecurity. So this machine pace then, what are the benefits of AI when it comes to cyber threat detection and response?
You kind of covered it in that question, I guess. It does a lot of the things, right? So it does the identification, the detection, and the response. So the way you can use AI in all three of those phases is the identifying. AI kind of builds out a pattern of life, is how we kind of term it at Darktrace. So it understands your normal business. So it's there to understand your business and how you guys operate in terms of a specific business and not just making an assumption across an industry or a vertical. In essence, it kind of gives you the ability to identify what you want to protect and preserve and like what your digital estate looks like. The detection part, we're looking kind of in AI, is basically the way it can look everywhere all at once at machine speed, as I mentioned before. So, it's not, it's the ability to kind of upscale your human teams, really. And the response part is the most important, I think, for AI. Because it can identify kind of all sorts of threats, it can detect them, but the response part's really key in making sure that you're making kind of intelligent and informed decisions about that, and you're able to make a proportionate response. And that's really important for businesses to be able to make that proportionate response and not just kind of taking out the entire network when it sees one thing. Is making kind of an intelligent decision to take action against your business to keep it safe.
So with AI allowing businesses to move at the machine pace, is it enough alone to repel modern cyber threats?
It's a great question. I think that alone, no defense is perfect. And I think everyone's accepted really in cybersecurity that, almost an attack is, likely. So it's not really just about preventing an attack, because that's kind of that old school way of thinking about how we're going to make ourselves more resilient. It is about the resilience part. So it's about how we respond to those attacks, which are likely. So I think threats will always get through, but the gap is closing and the industry is catching up. And I think we are making it harder and harder for attackers to find a way in. But the most important part about kind of AI and how it supplements it is making it easier for the defenders to be able to manage those complex risks. So the important thing is to give kind of the team and the organization a chance to make an intelligent decision and respond. I think AI can help find these weak spots and these kind of niche places that attackers might find to get in that you didn't know about maybe ahead of time. And you're able to kind of detect that and respond quickly.
So how do AI security tools fit in with existing security infrastructure?
I think based on kind of my last answer, I think we think about AI as a powerful tool that sits atop a kind of a layer above existing investments, because I appreciate everybody has many tools these days and many things to keep their estate secure. So it's in absolutely no way is AI expected to replace all tools and all people. It's more to complement. So it's that kind of complementary AI tool to the original and traditional tools that you might have. It's not about replacing security and nor the people. It's about managing things, as I mentioned. So it's about helping people find a better way of making a decision with AI's assistance. So I'd say it's ultimately to complement the human power behind your security team, being able to kind of investigate and respond alongside them.
I like that, the human power. Everyone always talks about the human element as a weakness, but human power is a nicer way of phrasing it.
Can be both.
Definitely both. So our final question then is, what is the key message for businesses looking to rethink and upgrade their security provisions?
This is always a really difficult question, I think, because there's so many decisions to make, and a lot of the time you're inheriting a decision to make, a lot of new tools if you're coming into a role or something. So it is hard for businesses to keep an eye on what they have. So I think the most important message is to understand your environment. I guess that's the hardest part sometimes, just to understand your security stack, the network, but also the business, like how the team are using tools and responding to things and how that business looks. Obviously, AI supplementing what the normal business looks like is great. I think don't chase kind of these incremental approaches to existing stuff, because you're just going to kind of layer on top of it. But I think looking for complementary and new ways to do security, specifically keeping like automation at the heart, given that the scale's forever growing. So you can't forever grow a team if you'll just get more and more security people or more and more tools. So I think automation should be kind of at the heart of that, and plan for the future with that in mind.